subscribe to TheFaisonViewPodcast, man. Episode 362. Episode 362. Like, share, subscribe on and at YouTube. All right. The Faison View Podcast. Okay, so let's intro it, man. Let's talk about it. Let's discuss. All right. Shout out to everybody. Happy holidays to everybody. For those who celebrate Christmas, all right. Happy Christmas. All right. Happy Christmas. Merry Christmas. All right. Merry Christmas to you guys. Feliz Navidad to everybody. All right. To everybody. You know, I got to make sure everybody good when we talking. But for today, man, we got much on the agenda. First, I want to talk about Christmas. How was everybody's Christmas? How was everybody's holiday going so far? Christmas, of course, was better as a child, but now, I was born in 95. Y'all do the math. I'm not going to tell you, but y'all do the math. I feel like now, 95 and before 95, which is like 28 to you about 35, the millennials, now it's time, bro. It's time for us to focus on bills. It's time for us to lock in on, you know, all the things that we need to be accountable for as adults, you know, and everything that you was told from your grandparents, from your parents, man, you starting to see, man, life is lifing. Life is lifing. And then also, like I love Christmas to celebrate for the kids, for real, for the kids, and get to see the joys on their faces, no matter if people tell their children if Santa's real or not, or they getting the gifts. It's just the essence of the holidays. Like I remember, like my parents, man. My parents were like amazing, especially me and my brother. Celebrating Christmas, man. When you wake up in the morning, waking up at 6, 7 a.m., trying to get them to wake up. So I love that. I miss that aspect. But now I'm an adult. Now I'm a husband. Now I'm a father. Like, I look forward to other things, like the essential things, you know, that's what matters to me. You know what I'm saying? Everything else, like the materialistic things, I'm not really interested in. And I remember when I was a kid, I used to hate unwrapping clothes. Like, we wanted toys. We wanted things that, you know, we actually wanted as far as, like, if it was a PlayStation or if it was some type of toy or game or whatever the case may be. But now, of course, as you adult, you appreciate the little things. You appreciate clothes, all right? Like, some things I asked for was just like a portable vacuum in my car. Like, just the little things. Like, as you start to adult, man, have an understanding of that. And that's one thing I major on Christmas. I just want to make sure my son gets everything he wants, all right? Everything he wants, because it's really about him. It's really about the kids, all right? It's really about making them happy. And then also my wife, making her happy as well, too, whatever she wants. So it's like I really stepped aside years ago as far as like Christmas. I love Christmas for, you know, the family aspect of it. And one thing I'm truly blessed for, and I seen all of my family this past weekend and this past week, it's just for them still being here, being alive, you know, being healthy. Like, that's the gift that keeps on giving, that God allows me to wake up every single morning. That's the most important aspect right there, that I'm allowed to wake up every morning, breathe air out my body, because a lot of people, and shout out to them and rest in peace for all of our fallen angels. Like, as you get older, you start to have an understanding that we're not going to be here forever. Everybody has a due date. Everybody has a birth date and a death date. So, you know, cherish all the moments while they're here. All right, while they're here. Just wanted to say that, man. Shout out to everybody for the holidays. Since we talking about the prize, let's open up the conversation. All right, open up the conversation. You guys comment below, TikTok, YouTube. But let's open up the conversation. Johnathan Owens, Packers DB, and known as husband of Simone Biles, says he did not know her prior to them dating. All right, and says he's the prize. So, you know, everybody up in arms about their relationship. You know, I'm just commenting on it, but guess what? They're happy. At the end of the day, they are happy. They're happily married. I do believe, Johnathan Owens, you're capping, because Simone Biles is literally the prize. She's literally the prize. A champion beyond champions. I'm talking about historical champions. Simone Biles is in the history. Olympian, gymnastics. Like, I don't know how you cannot know her. She set every record. In her respective field, she has set every record, done everything. And I understand it's like, and I like with Simone Biles, she just standing up for her man. Like, are y'all done yet having this conversation? I'm happily married, So maybe she doesn't want to even be looked at as, the I'll say the popular figure in their relationship. But guess what? And this is just for men out there. Like our egos are too big. But guess what? If your woman is in a relationship and she's more successful or anything of that nature, just be supportive of her. You know what I'm saying? The love is always going to be there if you guys have a bond, but be supportive of your woman. Like if she's more successful, then she's more successful. It's as simple as that. But like I do think he was capping on that aspect, but I do think the internet took it out of context. Took it out of context because I did watch the interview. He was just stating that he didn't know her prior to. I don't feel like that's truthful, but I do feel like he was being genuine in what he said. And I just don't agree with him saying he's the prize because ultimately, a lot of people started to know you because of Simone Biles. And I watch football and I know who he is, but the masses don't know who you are. That's just what it is. You have a lot of couples that the woman is more successful or more profound or more known, and that is okay. That is okay. Play your part. Guess what? At the end of the day, you her husband. So you won regardless. You know what I'm saying? You won regardless. So like, the internet is going internet, but he did win. He did win. Cause guess what? She is who she is. She is one of one, Simone Biles. And you got her. You got her. I don't agree that you are the prize. But maybe in her eyes, honestly, you are the prize in her eyes because out of everybody in this world, she chose you. So, I get it in retrospect too. So I understand it. But like, I feel like that's a conversation that needs to be had. I feel like just as far as a man goes, like our egos, we want to be the man in the house, and that is all good. All that still can apply. But if your woman is more successful, so what? Be supportive. Be there for her. Like that's genuinely how I feel about it. You know what I'm saying? And vice versa. But I do feel like it's not as common we see that, I guess. Like see examples of the woman being more successful. We do have way more examples of that now. But we don't, I guess it's not traditional as common. But nah, man, put your ego aside. She is the prize. But in his eyes, I see what he's saying because she chose him out of everybody. But like it was a good conversation to have because it was just like Simone Biles. Like this is Simone Biles. Like she's one of one. It's not, and we will never get another Simone Biles for real. And respect to her as well too. And since we talking about powerful woman, Taraji P Henson, she just recently spoke about and talked about being underpaid as an actress, and one of her star roles, Empire, Cookie Lion, and how they didn't properly promote or market and build her brand. And one thing about this, and that's DC's very own Taraji P Henson, one of the most successful, talented actresses that they are in general, period. And she brings so much value. And one thing I respect about Monique, and everybody was on Monique, the internet coming for her and stuff like that, just because they felt like she was bitter. And that's one thing we had to stop doing with black women is just thinking when they talk out and say something that's different from everybody's opinion that they're bitter. Well, Monique really exposed the industry for what it really is. And now everybody sees it for what it really is. You can get blackballed. If you don't want to abide by the industry rules and the industry norms, you would be blackballed. And she's been telling y'all for the longest time about this. And also, it's nothing wrong with you coming out and saying what you should be worth and what your value is. That's why I loved about what Monique said, what Taraji P Henson is saying. It's like, bruh, I'm worth this amount. And what blew me about the internet, people Googling Taraji P Henson's net worth. Okay, she never said that she still wasn't rich or wealthy. She's saying she's being underpaid. She understands her value. And that's the most important aspect of it. She understands her value, and she talks about how, like, honestly, the industry can typecast you in a certain manner, especially if you're a black woman and a black male, but especially if you're a black woman, they don't want you to step outside certain roles. And I honestly understand and get that. And for this role that she played with Cookie Line, they could have really took Empire a whole nother in a whole nother magnitude, in a whole nother place. And one thing I do respect and love right now, what 50 Cent is doing, he's opening arms to all his platforms that he has, BMF, the Power World, Raising Canaan, like everything that he's doing. He's bringing everybody into. He just had Monique on one of his shows, and I really think that he's really going to advocate for Taraji P. Henson. But that's what we need. That's what we need, especially in this space now, because if we don't help each other and we don't support each other, then we become the problem. We become the problem in our own communities if we don't help and support each other. You know what I'm saying? And praise each other in a certain magnitude, we're going to continue to get walked over. That's what you see a lot of times. That's what you see a lot of times. People of value or people of importance not getting paid what they rightfully should be paid. You know what I'm saying? And then also people get upset when you bring race into it, but that plays a factor. Because it's only a few anomaly type of black men and black actors and black actresses that are anomalies that can play any type of role, and they really can their value is of such where they can play in any type of role, they can get any type of role, but that's very short. Like you have the Denzels, Will Smiths, you Samuel Jacksons, but even they've been typecasted in a certain way at a certain point. So it does speak to that. So understanding your worth and value is important. And I wholeheartedly support Taraji P. Henson and what she's saying. You know, and also we need to give Monique her credit and her praise for bringing all these things that we talk about to light. She talked about who's been blackballed her. She talks about the industry. You know, and when you speak out about certain things, they can easily just blackball you. But that's not right. That's not okay, especially when you're advocating for yourself and advocating for your value. Versus if somebody else was said it of a different color, it may have been perceived differently. For sure, it may be perceived differently. I understand. I'm tired of black women being labeled as bitter. That's not fair. It's not fair at all. So much praise to Taraji P. Henson, especially because she is from where I'm from. You know what I'm saying? She's from where I'm from, and she's really a role model and a pillar to our community. So I respect her for actually speaking out about certain things like this because it's true. And I love that she just was in The Color Purple. I didn't get to see it yet. Fantasia, a lot of great actors and actresses that are in The Color Purple. And I'm eager to see that movie. I'm eager to see that movie. Usually I don't like touching the classics. I don't like touching the classics, especially the classic movies that should just not be touched. But the cast in this is amazing. Amazing cast. So I'm eager to see what they have in store. And then also, like, in retrospect, Color Purple came out, you know, years ago. So it is good to see a remake. I'm not a fan of all of the remake classics, but I am a fan of this one based on who the cast is. For sure. All right, let me talk about a little bit of sports, y'all. Let's talk about a little bit of sports. Lamar Jackson for MVP. He should have been in the conversation this whole time. The whole time. That's another sports superstar that doesn't get his credit. MVP of the league. His second year. You see where he was drafted. You see, over this summer when he was going through the battle when trying to get the contract extension with the Ravens, that nobody was looking for an MVP type of caliber player like Lamar Jackson. He's always been labeled as, he's just a running back playing quarterback. And that's not true because he's been efficient. If you look at all the numbers, he has broken records. Michael Vick, Cam Newton numbers. You know what I'm saying? He's broken, and he should be in higher regard. We give quarterbacks, which are good, but we give quarterbacks like Josh Allen, and give them their praise, but we don't want to give Lamar Jackson their praise. We give Brock Purdy his praise. We don't give Lamar Jackson his praise. And what I don't like about the media a lot is it's a lot of recency bias. Now Lamar Jackson beat the best team, the 49ers. Now he's in conversation. He should have been in conversation this whole time because without Lamar Jackson, that organization is not what it is. And then think about who he's doing it with. He has a first-year Zay Flowers, who's going to be a superstar for sure. Odell, who is still Odell, but it was a lot of speculation because of the injuries. Was he going to be still that guy? He's doing this without Mark Andrews, and he also is doing this on a Ravens team that has also always been focal pointed on the defense and running game. He is doing this, and he really has shown up all year. 12-13 after the contract extension. You have a lot of players after the contract that don't perform. That get the contract and just be like, whatever. I got my guaranteed money. I'm good. But this man is a superstar, once in a lifetime type of player. So he does deserve his respect. For my MVP votes, it's either Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, or Tyreek Hill. Those are my three. And I feel like also too, and Lamar Jackson, he's different. But also too, in the same regard, as far as like the quarterbacks, MVP should not just be a quarterback award. That's another thing I want to talk about. It should not just be a quarterback award. Because you have the likes of Christian McCaffrey scoring, 22 touchdowns this year. Have scored consistently touchdowns every single game dating back to last year. Tyreek Hill, who was on the verge of breaking 2,000 receiving yards, and he can still do it, but if he didn't get injured, I'm sure he would have got it. So that's one thing I'm in disagreement with as well, too, is that the MVP should not just be a quarterback award. I do feel like that's a problem in the league, that we just appoint that to a quarterback. Lamar Jackson, if he rightfully deserves the MVP because he's been performing like it. I didn't like the talks of Dak and Brock Purdy. Yes, they're doing good, but guess what? That's another thing. When somebody of a superstar caliber, that former MVP Cam Newton, speaks about something, everybody thinks he's being bitter. When actually he knows the game. He knows the game and understands the game. And he called them game managers, but I don't feel like he's wrong. And then everything that he's saying has been proven right. Since he said it, the Cowboys lost 2 in a row. And since he said it, Brock Purdy just threw 4 interceptions. He's also just talking about how a system can build a quarterback. Lamar is the system. Lamar Jackson is the system. Christian McCaffrey, if he wasn't on the 49ers, they wouldn't be as successful. Tyreek Hill, you seen when Tyreek Hill didn't play, the Dolphins weren't as successful. Tua, he deserves more respect, but I understand too that I wouldn't put Tua just in MVP regard, just because if he didn't have this dynamic player, Tyreek Hill, that's what makes you valuable. Most valuable player means that if this player was not on the team or injured or not playing, then you see their team will fall. You see, and it's been obvious. Last year with Lamar Jackson, Christian McCaffrey, before he got traded with the Panthers, the 49ers were still a good team but this took them to a whole nother level. Then you talk about Tyreek Hill, took them to a whole nother level. So you're starting to see these certain type of teams that just needed that one player to really just go elsewhere, go crazy. So I do feel like Lamar Jackson deserves his respect, and I like him speaking out about these so-called sports analysts that never played a down of football in their lives, but they want to be so critical of these football players that sacrifice their lives every single day, and every single Sunday, Saturday, or Thursday, sacrificing their bodies every single game. Football is a different element. One play could be your last play. And for what he's been doing after this injury, after all the speculation about can he still perform, is he going to be a good enough quarterback? Man, nah. And now you see the bandwagon. Now everybody want a bandwagon now. Lamar for MVP. After a week or two ago, y'all was talking about Dak and Brock Purdy. I completely agree with Cam Newton. It is certain game managers. That doesn't mean that they're not good, but they're game managers. And game managers mean they have control of the offense, but also it's other pieces to those other 10 players that make them who they are. And then also the system as far as coaching make them who they are. That's just real. But you can't coach a Lamar Jackson. And I'm not saying in that aspect. He's just a once in a lifetime generational talent. So is Christian McCaffrey. So is Tyreek Hill. You can't coach that type of talent. And I'm not saying you can't coach it, but they are the system. They are the system. They are the focal point. And if you don't have those players, then that team won't be successful. As simple as that. As simple as that. And it's not just of course it's 11 players on that on the field, but without them, you see how the team is either going to win or they either going to fail. You see that. It's pretty obvious with that, for sure. And since we talking about Baltimore and we talking about sports, Tank Davis buying his own block in Baltimore, the next day it was on fire. This is the problem. We talk about generational wealth. We talk about building up our communities. We talk about giving back to our communities. We talk about being a pillar to our community and honestly embracing where you're from. So he buying back his own block. The next few days, it's on fire. That's the problem, specifically in our black communities. When we see somebody of success, it's either you are envious or you want to see their whole, their whole image destroyed because they have something that you don't. It's not fair. It's not right either. We have to get out this type of mindset, because what are the odds? What are the odds that he just bought back his own block? It was on social media, it was going viral, it was on the news, it was being talked about, and then all of a sudden a fire on that same exact block. That's why we can't have them. We can't do certain things, and that's the problem. We can't elevate as a people if we don't come together as a people. People are so envious, and that is the problem. People are so envious in our black community, and we can't go anywhere with, and that's a deeper rooted problem, but it's something that needs to be discussed and talked about. It really does. And shout out to Gervonta Tank Davis. I'm eager to see his next fight. I do feel like he's pound for pound the best boxer there is right now. You do have Terrence Crawford, who put on a amazing showing against Errol Spence, but I do feel like Tank is still the face of boxing. And Devin Haney, he's a good boxer for sure. Undisputed champion as well too. But I don't think he's ready for Tank. He's not ready. Tank has showed you. And people don't understand that Tank, he has hidden power. He has that power to knock you out. He does have that Mike Tyson type of power to knock you out. But also he has good defense. He has a strong chin. Pause. For real. Because in boxing, if you don't have defense, if you don't have some type of power to your punch, then you're not going to be effective. He has all of those. I do not feel like Devin Haney is ready for that type of bout. But we shall see, because I feel like that's going to be the fight of the fight. That's going to be the fight to the fight right there. That's going to be how we looked at Manny and Mayweather at a certain time in their career, where they were both in their prime and we wanted them to fight. So I hope they get that deal done for sure. And whoever want to take bets, I'll take bets right now. I got Tank. Round 6, 7, I got Tank. He has shown countless times that he can go up in weight class too. Yeah, upper room. Haney, he's a good fighter, but Tank different. He's the face of boxing. The GOAT. Lil Wayne. All right, Lil Wayne says 56 Nights by Future is the best mixtape ever. I love Lil Wayne. I think he's the GOAT, as you already know. Greatest rapper of all time. But one thing about Lil Wayne that I've always been critical of, that he's most times too humble. Because I can say 3 mixtapes that are the greatest of all time in his own discography. I would say either No Ceilings, The Drought 3, or Dedication 2, easily. And 56 Nights, and I'm a Future fan, 56 Nights got March Madness on it. You don't even have to talk about any other songs. And then at that time, Future was on a tear. 2015, 2016, 2017, Future, you couldn't tell me nothing about it. And he was having one of those type of runs. But Wayne, the Wayne mixtape era is untouchable. It's not even a conversation. I didn't even bring up the prefix, the suffix. I ain't bring up Sorry for the Wait. I ain't bring up any other. I can bring up so many mixtapes as far as Lil Wayne. He changed mixtapes forever. Yes, you have people of the likes like 50 Cent who really started to really go up within the mixtapes. But Wayne made the mixtapes very much so popular to where it broke the internet. Like the No Ceilings, the Drought 3, Dedication 2, all the Dedication series, It's not even close. And then, in my opinion, 56 Nights is not even Future's best mixtape, in my opinion. I think Monster is. And Monster is the mixtape that really catapulted Future to go in that run. Because at the Monster, we got Beast Mode, we got 56 Nights, we got DS2, we got Hendrix, we got Future, we got Purple Rain. He went on a tear after that. That Monster, boy, y'all don't even understand. Throw It Away, for the real Future fans, Throw It Away, Gangland. Oh, man. That was the time. You had to be there. That 2014-15 era of Future. Oh, yeah. Come on now. But I do feel like I do understand what 56 Nights did, especially March Madness being on there. I think that's top 3, top 5 best Future songs for sure. But I would debate that. I don't think it's the best. I definitely don't think it's the best mixtape ever, but I don't even think it's the best mixtape in Future's catalog. Y'all let me know what y'all feel about that. I do feel like it's Monster, and that Monster mixtape took Future elsewhere because previously before that, Future was still known. Future was still Future, but he became a legend after that Monster, and then when he went on that run. When he went on that run, that was it. He went crazy. He went absolutely crazy on that one. And then also, Lil Wayne also stated that Nicki is the best Young Money artist. And I would disagree with him again as well. I do feel like it's Drake, but I get what he's saying as well too, because guess what? We always compare Nicki to Wayne's levels as her being like the female Wayne. So I completely understand it, and I do feel like, in my opinion, I do feel like Nicki is the greatest female rapper ever. The only person I would debate alongside with that would probably be Missy Elliott, but Missy Elliott did so many different things as well too. But I mean I'm not against it, but I do feel like Drake is the best Young Money artist, other than Wayne. I feel like Drake is. I would rate it Wayne, Drake, Nicki. But honestly, I wouldn't even care what order you would put that in, for real, because all of them are icons. So I wouldn't care what order that was put in. But I do feel like Drake, man, still doing it. Drake is still doing it consistently. Still doing it. Top of the charts. Since Drake has came out, he has been relevant. It's been no ifs, ands, or buts. You go to CDs, you go to when he first came out, you go to streaming, you go to his mixtapes, and that's another mixtape that is debatably one of the best mixtapes ever as well too. So Far Gone. So Far Gone in itself, come on now, like Drake discography is different. From Comeback Season to So Far Gone to Thank Me Later to Take Care to Nothing Was the Same to If You're Reading This to Views to More Life, to Scorpion. Yeah, come on now. Come on. It's been too many moments. I'm sorry. It's been too many moments, for real. And Nicki is 101 too as well. Don't get it misconstrued. She's still 101. But look, it's not a lot of people that got Drake discography. And I'm gonna put it to you just like that. It's not a lot of people that got Drake discography. It's only 1% of the rap game has Drake discography. And that's a few. That's where you talk about the Waynes. That's where you talked about the Kanyes. That's where you talk about the Jay-Z. It's only a few that has a discography that even can compare to Drake. So in that regard, as far as what Wayne said, Nicki being the best, one thing I think should be discussed is the podcast culture. Understandably, it's becoming a culture where it's oversaturated. Everybody wants to make a podcast. Everybody has a podcast. But really, to just separate yourself as well too is just being consistent. Like that's one thing I've always been is consistent. I don't care what's going on, and as long as I have viewers and I have certain fans that look at my podcast, continue to go. You're gonna make mistakes along the way, but you have to continue to push forward along your journey. And that's one thing I feel like with the podcast culture, people are just getting in it and just think they can say whatever on the mic, and people get in front of this mic and in front of the camera and think it's easy. It's not easy. It's really not easy, but I feel like it's really about repetition, you being consistent, you having a drive to do it. And also, one thing about it, understand that it is competition, but you have to find ways to engage with your audience. You have to find ways to bring engagement to your podcast. And I'm learning as well too. I'm learning as I go. But as I'm 362 episodes in, like so even though I've come so far 300 episodes plus in, it's still room for growth. It's still room for change, and it's still room to elevate. It's really no ceilings to this. And I feel like the podcast culture is great for a lot of people, but I feel like it is oversaturated because everybody feel like it's a popular thing to do right now, and people think it's just easy to do. It's not as easy to do. It's really not. But I feel like as us embracing the podcast era, and also this time that we in, one thing that remains the same: if you're not consistent with it, then you're never going to see success. One thing Ice Cube said that really resonated with me: if you don't build your brand for 4 to 5 years, it's never going to go to where you think it's going to go. You have to stick with the journey. You have to be a part of the journey. Like without you being consistent, then you can't complete your journey. That's very important, for real. And I just want to shout out to everybody that continues to support me. I'm going to continue to elevate. I'm going to continue to drop episodes, but I just want to remain consistent. I want to remain engaged. I want to remain honestly present in this space, because it is a space that I feel like I can be successful in just because I did practice journalism. I have been an intern. I've done everything in this space that I can do, but I want to continue to grow, and also being able to be teachable. Have an understanding of, if fans say, oh, well, the lighting is this, well, it doesn't sound good with this, whatever the case may be, you have to take the criticism and actually put that into play. So I do feel like the podcast culture is oversaturated, but it's what you make it. It's what you make it. And it's all about your drive as an individual, for real. And it's all about the team that you have as well, too. That's very important. Those people that are around you that keep you grounded, that is important and pivotal as well. But you already know the Faison View Podcast, man. Episode 362. Man, make sure you guys like, share, subscribe to the Faison View Podcast, man. Thank you for always supporting my TikTok livers. Hey, man, make sure you guys drop anything in the chat, man. Drop your gifts. Man, I just want to thank you guys for supporting. Continue to like, comment, and subscribe to the Faison View Podcast, man. You can get via YouTube, all social media platforms at the Faison View Podcast, man. You already know we out. Yes, sir.